Hello everyone. Today we have with us Gorang Gehlot. He's an old friend of mine. So a little bit background. We were NEET aspirants, but then I became engineer from NSIT, and he chose a very complete different path. I would like to add is that he's a real life Sheldon, but not the weird part, only the education part. So let's now start with him. Firstly, Gorang, अभी finally IIT Roorkie छोड़ के कहाँ पे है अभी?
Right now, I am in Harish Chandra Research Institute, Prayagraj, Allahabad.
So exactly,
It's
हो
a
क्या रहा है
research
पे?
institute. Basically, it's one of the best research institute in the country for quantum computing and string
वो
theory. So yeah, right there with TIFR and ICTS.
so मतलब ये क्या physics का ही पूरा वो हो गया core part, pure physics.
Quote. Yeah, it's pure theoretical physics. The institute is specifically made for theoretical physics.
Okay, so what is like यहाँ पे आने के लिए क्या करना पड़ता है? Like after 12th क्या करना चाहिए?
Yeah, so first of all, the thing is you have to have your graduation completed, then only you can enter this institute. It's a master's institute. So basically,
Okay,
this is the first year this institute has started taking master's student.
okay.
So every year it takes only 8 to 9 students. This
Okay,
time it has taken 20 students for the first time. So
okay.
basically what you have to do is after your 11th, 12th, you don't have to do any like NEET and JEE kind of thing. You simply
Okay,
have to study physics hard. I mean,
okay,
really hard. I mean,
okay,
really hard, but I mean, study hard, not physics is hard, study hard. I mean, with all the care and
okay. Yeah.
right. So the thing is, you complete your graduation from any college in the country
Okay.
with physics major.
So where did you go for your
Or you,
graduation?
yeah, so I was in Mumbai University, Jai Hind College.
Okay, so you did any type of entrances for that university, or was it
Yeah,
based on just?
no, there was no entrances. It's just based on your 12th marks and stuff like that.
Okay, okay.
Which, by the way, were not good for me because you know already that we were open school
Yeah,
and
open school. Yeah.
yeah, so
So that was 2 or 3 years course, right? The Mumbai
yeah, 3
University.
years course
Okay,
basically.
okay. Then after that you joined IIT Roorkie.
Yeah, so for that, after you pursue your graduation or after you complete your graduation, there is an national level exam, IIT JAM.
Okay,
It's quite a famous exam. IIT
okay,
JAM, many of the aspirants who want to pursue career in pure sciences do this. But the thing is, after you pursue IIT JAM, you can also go to IISCs via IIT JAM.
okay,
That's the
okay.
state. That's the status. But regardless of that, this IIT JAM exam, there is one more exam that is JEST exam. It's
Okay, just
this exam, yeah. So this exam, JEST exam, is based for specifically research institutes. There's
okay,
Aryabhatta Research Institute, SNBS, HNBS, and then TIFR, ICTS,
okay,
IISC. All these specifically named research institute which have their own budget cuts
okay,
from
okay,
the government sector. Apart from IITs, IITs are not included in JEST.
okay,
ICERs, all the ICERs, ICER Pune, ICER Bhopal, and all these things. All these
okay.
institutes are a part of that exam JEST. So
So,
after you complete JEST, you have to give an interview.
so like,
Basically.
what was the procedure? Like, did you like prepare from a specific institute or own preparation only?
No.
Self
It's nothing like
preparation.
that. You have to prepare for the exam, and right,
Okay,
and there are not much coachings for these exams. JEST and
okay,
IIT JAM in our country.
okay,
I mean, pure sciences is anyways not preferable in our country. Nevertheless,
okay,
the scope is good. So there are coaching centers only in West Bengal for
okay.
JAM and JEST, and for JAM and JEST a little bit in Delhi also, but not much.
So
So
one
the
major
thing is,
question,
you have to study on your
sorry.
own and do your graduation with much dedication, much more dedication than required. I mean, YouTube
Okay,
videos and everything are there. So
yeah, obviously. So one major question, like we heard every year, like 12 to 13 lakh students sit for IIT, JEE mains, etc. So how
yeah,
many students participate in these exams?
yeah. So for JAM exam, there are quite a lot of students. I mean, I don't know the number, but it's 7 to 8 lakhs for
Roughly.
JAM.
Okay, 7 to 8 lakhs.
Roughly.
And what are the number of seats available for it
So
after the
okay,
exam?
so the seat for per subject, it's divided into subject. For physics, there is a different exam. For chemistry, there
Okay,
is a different exam, and
okay,
for
okay,
maths JAM, there is also a different exam. So for the seat for each subject, I would say for general cast, for getting into an IIT, you will have to rank below 200. Then you can get into an IIT. 200 or 220, I guess, for general category. And for OBCs and all, for SC, ST, it goes till 1900 rank and something like that.
Okay, so 200 means all the IITs or single IIT?
All the IITs.
Oh my God, that's quite difficult to crack.
Limited number of seats. But then here there is JEST. Okay. So the JEST, the students who give JEST are the person who does not want to pursue, industrial career or something in the subject. Rather, they want to pursue research. These people give JEST. Okay. So the JEST exam basically has a strength of about, for each subject, 15,000 students sit for JEST exam. Okay. And then out of that, most of the institutes take students from till rank 100 or till rank 200. But that's not the procedure to get into. Most of the institute that admit via JEST exam does not only conduct JEST exam. You have to first clear the JEST exam. If they call for an interview, you have to give the interview. And every institute has their own process of admitting students. For example, ICTS this time, what they did was they called up to only rank 96 or something. Okay. After 96, they asked the students who had ranked below 96 to give 3 letters of recommendation from teachers in their graduation. And then after that, they will select you for an interview. Okay. And then after that, you will be selected. For specifically this institute, it was like this. You have to give the exam. 200 students were called out of the 60. And one more thing. For masters and PhD, the exam is same and the ranking is same. So you will be competing with your seniors too in this exam. Nevertheless, your ranking, the ranking will be given, in the same sequence that MSc and PhD ranking will be given in the same slot. No difference for them. But the selection process for MSc and PhD will be different. Okay. So after that, they called 200 students and selected only 20. Okay. That's fine. So what's the fees roughly if I want to pursue this master's? Fees is minus 6,000 per month. Minus 6,000 or 6,000? Yeah, I have to pay nothing. They will give me 6,000 per month. Okay, so my stationery is free. Yeah, so my stationery is free. Anything from pen to books, my staying is free. They provide, first of all, I was provided an AC room for quarantine. I was so happy. But for hostel, AC room? Yeah, but after that, no, that was for quarantining. So I thought that maybe they will be providing these kinds of room only. But after I got, rooms are decent, not that bad. But yeah, not AC rooms per se. Okay. So so what's the fees? If I want to prepare, do I have to pay nothing if I'm not attending any coaching, etc.? I have to just you have to just pursue your graduation, give your exam. Most of the students who are in our institute have not taken any kind of coaching or anything like that.
So what is exam fees?
Exam fees. What is it? Yeah, so it's around, I don't know, 600 for girls and 1,200 for
so it's
boys.
Quite reasonable fees.
Yeah, only the exam fees. Before giving the exam, but once you get into an institute, no fees for you. Even the traveling expenses are zero. Right now I'm in Prayagraj. So if I have to travel somewhere, right now the bus service is not there because of COVID, but once the bus service starts, I can use the institute bus to go anywhere in the city.
Oh, that's amazing, man. So let me ask, what are typical users try? What is the scope if I pursue this?
The scope is basically, it depends what you want to pursue. Basically, if you want to pursue as a career as a researcher. So first of all, before talking about the scope of the subject, I would like to say the difference between, what I am doing at the end of the day. I'm pursuing a master's in physics. Everybody does that. Everybody after graduation, everyone who has a major in any subject, they pursue a master.
Yeah.
The only difference here lies in, so basically what you say is everyone pursues BTech, right? Now it's not true, but most of the time what people say is, if you pursue BTech from some other college or you pursue BTech from some IIT college or an institute of that caliber, there's a difference between that.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing is here. That thing can be said for IITs and normal colleges. So if I were to compare IITs and normal college, then people will say, okay, you are pursuing MSc from this particular college.
Yeah.
and then you may pursue and you are pursuing MSc from IIT. So that's the comparison. For research institutes, there's no comparison. I mean, by comparison, I don't mean that they are out of the blue or something like that. It's just that you don't compare them. You can't compare them because the course curriculum, although the course curriculum for MSc is defined by the government and is same, nevertheless, every teacher that you get or every professor that you get is already pursuing active research in some area of physics, and that's not something like saying that they are I mean just on the name they are researchers. No, everybody is I mean Bhatnagar awardee Dirac prize winners here.
Okay.
So
Oh.
one teacher, one professor I have, he's a Dirac prize winner. He won the Dirac prize, and he won Swanti Swarup Bhatnagar prize, something like that. Another professor also have won Swanti Swarup Bhatnagar prize. One professor in quantum computing have given theorems of himself that you study in books. So I mean
Oh.
that kind of researchers teach you, first of all, in any research institute in our country also. So those researchers teach you, and the thing is, they, rather than giving the flavor of the subject or teaching you the course curriculum of the subject, they also teach you the active research that is going on in the subject right now.
Okay.
With the most recent research that's going on, you get in touch with that, and even then you meet a lot of people associated with research. So it's basic a master's course, but it's much more than that, much more involved than that. It's only a
Okay.
name for master's course. So the scope after this is, so what is happening, what happens in pure sciences is, after you pursue a master's course, either you are in chemistry or in physics. If you are pursuing optics or electronics, you get a decent job, like you get a job in some industry. If you are pursuing from IITs, in IITs they have good placement opportunities, so you will
Okay.
get a job in IITs and something like that, and you can I mean live your life. And then there are institutes like Byju's and an
Yeah.
academies and
Yeah.
all those.
So
That's
as a
typical
teacher.
for yeah,
So
as a
like
teacher.
as a teacher. Okay.
A master's, if you pursue for
Okay.
IIT, there is a teaching profession, and then you can give an exam, CSIR, NET, GATE. They are
Okay.
college professors. Like in DU you can apply for professorship. And then if you are pursuing for a job sector, and then there are industrial jobs that are
Okay.
available for MSc students. That's normal for everybody, but
Mhm.
IITs are given preference. So
Yeah.
that's there. But in a research institute, when you go into a research area, so what's the basic plan after MSc is to do a PhD in some
Okay.
particular subject, right?
Okay.
So what happens is, most of the time I have seen students or people who say that PhD is something you have to give money for, right?
Okay.
You have to
Yeah.
give a lot of money, you don't get anything, you are
Yeah.
just pursuing a PhD.
Mhm.
So basically in research institutes like these, that's not the case. Government provides you
Okay.
with money. Okay, so
Okay.
first of all, the same thing applies. If I can pursue my PhD after masters from here, after giving an interview,
Hmm.
okay, so I have completed my masters, so I am in this institute, and now I
Okay.
don't have any, I mean, I won't have any expenses because everything is free for me, and
Hmm.
still they will pay me 41,000 per month.
41,000 per month.
Depending on the institute, TIFR gives me 41,000. This I don't know the exact
Hmm.
amount given here, but
So
TIFR
this
gives
is after
41,000.
MSc.
This is
This is after
after MSc.
masters.
You pursue PhD, yeah, after
Okay.
masters. And even then, after masters, the scope of going abroad from these institutes
Hmm.
is much more. I mean, much more, because the faculty, most of the faculty here, I mean,
Hmm.
have worked with people from America and people from Germany. All the students. I mean, I have one professor. I mean, our
Hmm.
director is from Bell Laboratories,
Okay. That's quite
and
famous.
yeah, he was awarded the highest honor in Bell Laboratory. Not like that he was just a worker there. No, he was awarded the highest honor in Bell Laboratory.
Hmm.
Pinaki Majumdar is his name. So basically, so the recommendation from these teachers always gets you to, some good PhD institute. And after you pursue your PhD, I mean, you have postdoc options a lot abroad.
Okay.
If you pursue from this institute or any research institute, then also
Hmm.
you have a lot of postdoc options. And if you
Okay.
pursue from somewhere outside the country, then also you have a lot of postdoc options. And postdoc is quite, I mean, involved. And then you become a professor. At the end of the day, you become a professor
Hmm.
in normal IITs and stuff. The
Hmm.
most you can become is a professor.
Hmm.
And even in IITs, one can become a professor plus a researcher,
Hmm.
or a researcher plus a professor. But
Yeah.
from research institute, most of the institutes are researchers at the core, and in their leisure time, they teach also, or they teach students, and not just 11, 12 students or graduate students. No, they teach fellow PhD students too.
Yeah.
So
So
that's a
one
different
question.
caliber.
So is
Yeah,
this like a government job, like a fixed job with fixed income?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, all the travel expenses are paid if you are a good enough, you know. So
Yeah.
you get to travel a lot of countries. I mean, right now it's not there, but there are a lot of conferences happening in all over the world regarding
Mhm.
the recent experiment of physics.
So you get to attend all of them free of cost.
Yeah, if you are a good enough professor,
Okay.
that's what you are.
For professor level.
And basically, you are not a professor. You just that's a part-time job as a professor. You are a
Okay.
researcher. I mean, you're basically, if you are an experimental physicist,
Mm.
so physics is divided into two parts: experimental physics and theoretical physics. So if you are an
Mm.
experimental physicist, so what is your job is, you sit in a lab and you perform experiments, and
Mm.
not just experiments that are known. I mean, new experiments to
Okay.
probe nature. And what as a theoretical physicist, my job is, I mean, I want to pursue theoretical physics. So if I am a
Okay.
theoretical physics, my job is, the experimental physicist performs an experiment, gives me a data, and then I
Mm.
have to construct theory. So basically, my job is to sit on a chair and think about things
Okay.
or the
So
experimental data in
you mean
front of
all
me
the
all day.
calculations and all?
Yeah, all day. So that's basically my job. And
Yeah.
in my part-time hobby, I
Mm.
like to teach. That's
Okay.
the
So
right way
you
to put it.
teach to the kids there only,
No,
or
not I'm saying, yeah, that's simply part-time, right?
okay.
But after I have done my PhD, I
Okay.
won't be teaching 11, 12 students, or after I have done my postdoc. No, I will be teaching PhD students. I'll be teaching
Okay.
master student. That's like it. And that's too, and that is like, I'll be teaching in some research institute.
Okay. So, see, like, what is like field related stuff that you are doing, like basic
Yeah,
research, like core research you are
yeah.
participating in
So
right now?
my core research will start in third year, right? I
Okay.
mean, that's not even core, that's a project. I'll
Mm-hmm.
be handling a project under some professor.
Mm-hmm.
That will be starting from third year. Right now, it's simple masters
Mm.
with all the exposure to all the experiments that happening all over the world.
Okay. So,
That's best way to put it.
so after third year is to be over and you will become a theoretical physicist, right? Or
No,
will you be kind of PhD
yeah.
also?
So basically, you are a theoretical physicist. I
Okay.
mean, there's no. It's like not like an engineering course that once you get your BTech degree, you became an engineer. Or once you
Yes,
got
yes.
your MBBS degree, you became a doctor. Or once you got your whatever degree, so there is
Mm-hmm.
no degree for theoretical physics. You
Okay.
are a theoretical physics if you think on the subject much
Okay.
deeper and publish papers. If you are capable of that, you are a theoretical physicist.
Okay.
So basically, everyone who is pursuing a master's and who is publishing papers can be regarded as a theoretical physicist.
Okay.
So it's wrong to say that when will I
Mm.
become theoretical physicist, right?
Okay. We got it. So the Indian students who are right now in 10th and 12th, give to them, like what should they do? Like, is this career better than BTech or MBBS or something like that? Any
Yeah.
advice you would
So
like to
the
give to
advice,
10 to 10?
yeah. So the advice I would give is do what you like,
Hmm.
as has always been the case for
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, do
Yeah.
everything that you
Obviously.
like, and yeah, don't touch anything that you don't like. Okay. Even if, I
Hmm.
mean, even if someone likes administrative job, go
Hmm.
for that. No issues. And I mean, I am no one, or no one is there to tell you that that's wrong. So do what you like. Whatever you want to pursue, one should pursue that. Okay. And
True.
the thing is, the only thing I would say is, if someone likes, before someone decides that I like that or that, they should know everything about other fields too, right? Then only you
Okay.
can choose. You should have everything on the plate. Most of
Okay.
the time in our country, what happens is, there are, the most advertised field are administrative,
MBBS
IS,
and yeah.
IPS, and these fields, MBBS, and engineering,
Mm, yeah.
and what that CAT exam, and what's that, what
Yeah.
is it
MBA.
called,
MBA. MBA. MBA.
MBA,
Yeah.
MBA. These are the most advertised field. Okay, so what happens in students in 10, 11, and 12th is, they have a plate on which they have, in one side they have MBBS, one side they have engineering, and one side they have MBA, and then they have IPS, IS, these kind of jobs. and I mean all these on the plate, right? In
Yeah.
one corner there is a little corner reserved for pure sciences. So when one student looks, okay, what do I like, I mean, he only sees the things that are kept in front of him or
Yeah.
her. He or she does not see what is kept in a corner. So I would just say that, okay, before deciding what you like, just look at every corner of the plate and then decide what you like. So now what is there in this corner in the pure sciences sector is, the first thing is satisfaction. The satisfaction after a point of time, if you are really dedicated to pure sciences, the satisfaction, the joy of knowing things, the joy of probing mother nature, the joy of understanding the laws of the world or how the world works. And it's also a very philosophical subject. Physics and philosophy has always gone hand in hand. I mean,
Yeah.
they are like partners. Even though physics does not, you know, there is some philosophy in physics too. So basically you get that joy first, and once you start enjoying that, other things doesn't even bother you. I mean, the superficial things in life, they stops bothering you much. And then comes your security, payment security. As I have said, if you are a good enough professor, and if you go in, and now I'll be talking only of specific researchers. So if you are a good enough professor, if you are a good enough researcher, most of the time, if you are in a good institute, all your expenses are paid, all your traveling expenses are also paid, and you are given money. It's not like you can make a decent amount of money. I mean, I won't say you will be able to make as much money as an, I mean, IS officer or something like that. Even though IS officers fee, I mean, monthly income is only 1 lakh or something like that. But even though they are rich, we know why, right? That
It's
kind of
like
thing won't
also
be happening
government
for
provides
you.
you.
Yeah. So yeah. So the thing is, the salary that you get in these jobs and the salary that you get in IAS, IPS job, they are equally same, right?
Same. Yeah.
Only difference is, under the table IAS can earn, you won't be earning anything under the table here. But the thing is, you won't be requiring anything to earn under the table, right? You
Yeah.
will be so involved in your work, these things won't matter to you. I would
So,
say that.
so
But
does
you
foreign
can make a decent
universities?
living.
So one
Yeah.
of my major questions is: does foreign universities also approach you like leave India and join them?
I mean, like these research institutes, what do they do? What's the general curriculum that happens here is, students from these institutes, most of the students, I am telling 90% of students from these institutes, CIFR, ICTS, HRI, and all these institutes, they go to abroad for pursuing their PhD. They do go abroad for pursuing their PhDs. Okay,
Okay.
even if they don't pursue their PhDs from abroad, they pursue their PhDs from these institutes. If someone pursues their PhD from these institutes, there's a huge scope. I mean, 90% of students will get a postdoctorate for fellowship in some university abroad. I mean, and I'm not talking of some I mean, layman college or something like that. I'm talking about top institutes like MIT, Stanford, and these Ivy League colleges per se. They,
Yeah.
and then again research laboratories like Bell Laboratories, they do take, most of the students from these institutes go there to pursue their higher education. I mean, and work there. And it's a huge, I mean, I mean, I cannot put it in, describe it into word, but it's a marvelous experience
Yeah.
for them.
Obviously.
But what happens is, after, I mean, I have seen this in researchers, after, I mean, working there 7-10 years or something like that, they do come back. So
Okay.
all the professors here were working abroad first, and then after some time, after pursuing their all the postdocs and everything, and then they came to India and applied for this institute and are here. So I mean, I don't know why, but I guess they start missing their country or something like that. So
Yeah.
they do come back,
Yeah. Obviously.
especially theoretical physicists. I mean, there is one professor that I said, Ashok Sen. So he works in duality or something like that. He's one of the, I mean, one of the best physicists in the country. He is a morning star visiting professor at MIT. Okay, so what's that is, so MIT wanted him, but he's not there. He's here. Basically, maybe he did not want to live there or something like that. But the thing is, I mean, he was recommended by Stephen Hawking himself for award, giving him awards. I mean, that's the caliber of physicist he is, and he's still living in our country. So they, I mean, if someone says that, okay, no one will admit physicists from our country to some, I mean, good institutes abroad. That's not wrong. Most of the physicists were already working in good institutes. They just came back here because they liked our country more, or maybe they liked them. I mean, I don't know the reason. That's individual, but yeah.
So does government also pay for the PhD if we want to pursue it from abroad also?
No, but what happens is, if you that is a very cool thing here. It will be free for you most of
Okay.
the time.
Okay. If
If
you
you
pursue it from
have to
India.
give an exam GRE, first you give
Yeah.
an exam GRE,
Mhm.
and then after, if your scores are good and your recommendation is good, if your research has been good in masters, if your project has been good in master,
Mhm.
then what happens is you get scholarships.
Okay.
Basically scholarships. So and I'm not saying that these scholarships are bad or something. They are good scholarship. They cover 100% of your fees,
Okay. That's
right? And sometimes it's 50%, sometimes it's 60%, 70%, but they do cover that. And even then, the problem is for only 1 and 2 years, because after that, when you're pursuing your PhD,
You
you
start
can apply
earning.
for an associate professor under
Yeah.
some other professor.
Mhm.
Then you will earn from that institute as well.
Yeah. Got it.
So that won't be an issue. Money is not
So
an issue for
yeah, I
pursuing
get it.
physics,
In fact,
pure
you're
science.
earning, man. In fact, you
Yeah,
start earning before even completing your degree, and
yeah,
also the cool projects you're working on. So anything
yeah.
like if I'm sitting in my room, anything around me that I can currently relate with the string theory or theoretical physics that you're researching on.
Well, music. I am not researching on string theory. I will be researching on string theory basically.
Okay.
Right now, I would say that I am not even capable, or I am not even on the. I mean, there is a ladder, and I am not even on the first step of the ladder of pursuing string theory. Cannot even think about pursuing string theory right now. It's just that I
Okay.
want to pursue it after I complete my masters, and then in the fourth semester of my masters, there will be a subject of string theory coming for me.
Okay.
If I take that, it will be in my elective courses. So if I pursue
Mhm.
that, then it will be there. For string theory per se, you have to first know classical mechanics, and I don't mean just the
Mhm.
Newton's law F is equal to ma. Why Newton's law is a law? How Newton law can be derived from something more fundamental called Lagrangian mechanics? Then you have to do Hamilton Jacobi. After you do Hamilton Jacobi, you go on to quantum mechanics. After you do quantum mechanics, you go on to optics and something like that stuff.
I
Just
lost you in
for
the middle
knowledge.
only. I lost you in the middle. I
So
don't know all these
basically,
things.
I'm just stating the ladder. After you do quantum mechanics, you have to do little bit of relativistic quantum mechanics. After relativistic quantum mechanics comes quantum field theory. After quantum field theory comes your, I would say, uh, string theory.
So, last question.
That quantum electrodynamics comes in middle somewhere after quantum field
Okay.
theory and before string theory. Particle
So,
physics, standard
so
model,
that's
and
a
those
lot of
things.
studying, man. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of.
But it's very interesting. So if I right now I just stated the ladder, okay. So
Mhm.
if I were to say something like what is these theories mean? So in simple term, I can state that very clearly. So
Okay.
we had classical mechanics,
Hmm.
okay, for particles around us, for objects
Hmm.
around us. We had classical mechanics, everything explaining everything.
Hmm.
When these objects start moving very fast,
Hmm.
there is a theory called spatial relativity. Okay,
We
okay,
we studied this right in 11th, 12th, something
yeah,
like
a
this.
little bit of it, just the
Yeah.
beginning, only special part of it. Okay,
Okay.
so right now I'm not taking gravity into action, so just keep it like this. So there is classical mechanics. You run fast, you go to
Hmm.
special relativity. Okay, you
Okay.
come back to classical mechanics for a moment.
Hmm.
You run slow, but you reduce the size of objects. Once you
Okay.
reduce the sizes of objects,
Hmm.
you go to quantum mechanics. Okay, you
Okay.
got that right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on the right hand, on the speed extreme, you have special relativity. On the size extreme of classical
Quantum.
mechanics, you have quantum
Quantum
mechanics.
mechanics.
And
Yeah.
both of these theories converges to classical mechanics in their limit. I mean, when you increase the sizes of objects, the quantum mechanics goes to classical mechanics.
Hmm.
And when you reduce the speeds of object, the special relativity goes to classical mechanics, right?
Hmm.
Now the thing is, what happens when the particles are small as well as they are moving very fast,
A new
right?
theory, man. New
This,
theory.
yeah. So you need something in a marriage of special relativity and quantum mechanics. That
Hmm.
marriage is called quantum field theory. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that is quantum field theory. Right now, everything we have done is without
Hmm.
gravity. Once
Okay.
gravity comes into picture, so what's the ultimate theory we have without gravity is quantum field theory. That
Okay.
explains everything without gravity.
Hmm.
And it explains, so there were, we have heard 4 forces in nature, right? Strong forces, weak forces, electromagnetic forces, and gravity. So electric and magnetic forces were not, they were different, but then they were shown to be the same sides of the same, two sides of the same coin, electromagnetic.
Yeah.
Then Abu Salam and some other physicists, Glashow, Abu Salam, came and joined electromagnetic forces with weak forces, providing electroweak theory. And then these forces were still joined with strong forces to give some other theory. It's SU5 or something. I don't know that. But this theory, I don't know that. I'm saying that I don't know that part. So these theory, but there is a problem of proton decay in that theory. But regardless, that converges. So only force that left to combine with all the other fundamental forces was gravity. So we have quantum field theory as the ultimate theory of everything without gravity. What we want is we want to incorporate gravity into quantum field theory. Okay. Something or quantum field theory. We have to. We have to incorporate quantum field theory into gravity. Gravity, by that I mean general relativity, not Newtonian gravity. Okay. So we want that. That's not done yet. That is done via strings.
That is the string theory. So that is string theory, right?
Yeah, that is string theory. Okay, so it's a marriage between gravity and quantum field theory in some sense. And so what does
I got it.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting it. What exactly it is?
Yeah. So what does it say is, so there are, we have heard there are particles like electron, proton, neutron. Everything is made of electron, proton, neutron. In 11, 12, that's what we have heard. So what happens is, with electron, there are 2 other particles. And then with them, there are 2 more particles, anti-particles of them. And then there are neutrinos associated with each of these particles. Okay. Like electron, neutrino, and like these. So these particles are called leptons. Okay. Now, what we have heard, these 4 forces, right? So weak forces, they are very light. Electron is very light compared to neutron and proton. So weak forces act between these particles. Okay. And there are some other particles like proton, neutron. These are very heavy particles, and weak forces also occur sometimes between them, and strong forces also occurs between them. Okay. So what does it say is, these neutron protons are made up of still subparticles called quarks. Okay. These quarks never come, as a single entity. They are always in pairs or a group. They haven't been found to occur, as a single entity. They will always be occurring in groups or something like that. Okay. So what does it say? They have different flavors, different colors, and everything like that. So what forces say that these quarks experience forces with each other, strong forces, by another particle called gluon. Okay. So these gluon will also have colors and something like that. So in all, everything made up of 56 particles. I may be wrong about the number, but around 56 particles are there. From this, everything in the universe, I don't know about the dark sector per se, but every material thing that we see is made up of these 56 particles. Okay. So that's the theory. Okay. So that's standard model of physics, which says that everything, material thing in the universe is made of 56 particles. What string theory says is, everything is made up of strings, and these particles arise because of vibration of these strings, like a guitar strings. If they vibrate in some way, it will give rise to some particle. If it vibrates in some other way, it will give rise to some other particle. If it vibrates with some other way, it will give rise to some third kind of particle.
So is it like this? So it's like the sound, like the different sounds we get from playing guitar. So is it like that?
Yeah, it's like
so
that.
Different particles from different chords.
Yeah, but the string vibrates in 11 dimensions, 10 dimensions plus 1 time dimension.
Okay.
So that's the difficulty. And there are no knots beyond. You have strings, you can make knots and something like so beyond 4 dimension, there are no knots and something. So it becomes quite complicated. But at the end of the day, it's simply strings vibrating. That's string theory. And it generates gravity from the theory itself.
Okay.
So that's the work. Yeah. So that's, one can say, superficially that, and there are some minute details that may be, technically wrong, but for a layman
we get
audience,
an overall,
for a layman audience,
that's quite interesting work, man. I've never done this during my BTech in the 4th year. Never even heard of these things.
Yeah.
So before ending, so what's a normal day in your life like?
Right now,
you are in college right now, right? Right now you are in
I'm in
college first
college,
year, right?
so yeah. So basically, there's no day. There's only night. So I mean, I sleep at 4 or 5 sometimes.
Okay.
So I mean, and I wake up at 12 or this is my time. So
Yeah.
so basically, once you wake up, I first of all the lectures are not in a particular schedule.
Yeah.
Every teacher has his or her own schedule. Okay,
Mm.
because the teachers are also working at night,
Mm-hmm.
so they cannot take morning lectures. So they take lectures in the evening and something like that. And
Yeah.
once you attend lectures and I mean the lectures, I mean I have studied in IITs. I have studied in the research
Mm.
institute, right? So I know, even though the lectures have started only from the 4th of this October, I know the
Mm.
difference of teachers. Okay, there are good teachers in IIT. I
Mm.
won't say that, but I mean, maybe the curriculum is something, or I don't know, but the level of teaching
So
here is.
what's my question is, why did you leave IIT Roorkee? It was so big, such a big thing. Firstly, to get into
Yeah,
IIT Roorkee in itself is a very
I,
big thing.
I did not get that satisfaction of learning physics. Basically, that's why I left. So I would say that. If someone from IIT hears that, they are gonna kill me. But the first day I came, the way they taught it naturally, prompted me to ask more fundamental questions that I did not. I did not feel, or I did not get. I did not knew that I would have these questions when I was taught the same subject in IIT.
So was it like the IIT was like a normal school, like the teachers teaching the
Yeah,
same course and then leaving,
yeah,
and here it's like
yeah.
much more dynamic.
Yeah, it's
And
much more dynamic than
so one more thing, like, do you also have exams or are there just research papers that you have to work on?
there are exams. There are exams for each course. There are projects, and then there are numerical methods courses. Where you also learn how to read research papers, and these courses are also there. And then there are
Yeah.
projects, but the numbers are not just awarded on exams. Okay, there are two exam
Hmm.
midterm, final sem. So it's divided between them, and then there are assignments and all these things
So one
are.
more thing, like, so as you are working theoretical physics, are you also working on are you also like experimenting things in your college? Because it doesn't require.
No, no. This college, or maybe I would say all the current research there that's going on, I would say experimental physics is not that good in India. I
Okay.
would frankly say that. Okay, for example, if this here, there is a group of quantum information theorists. My fellow PhD students who is living
Hmm.
just in this room beside me. He is pursuing. I don't know the exact topic, but he is in that QIC group, quantum information theory.
Okay.
So he knows more than me regarding that sector. But the thing is, so physics, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I would say that experimental physics is not that good. In fact, in
no, I was
experimental
asking that,
sector,
are you like also working on experiments, like, because you are
no,
theoretical
no,
physics,
no,
right?
no,
So only
no,
theory.
no. Yeah,
So
and
in terms of
I would say
projects,
that
what
this
will be working
institute
on?
is also not good for. As master's level, at PhD's level in
Can you
theoretical
please
physics.
repeat? Like, I was not able to hear. Like,
Yeah,
what?
so this institute for masters, you don't have the
Hmm.
experiment that you do at a master's level course,
Hmm.
right? Those
Yeah.
experiments are available everywhere. Okay,
Hmm.
regardless all the experimental research that's going on,
Hmm.
I won't say. I would say only no institute from our country in the experimental sector is
Hmm.
on par with an institute from US or
Okay.
something like that. But most of the institutes in our country are better than institutes from other countries in theoretical sector.
Okay.
Because what happens in the theoretical sector is you have data,
Hmm.
you have pages, you have a pen,
Hmm.
you have your
Hmm.
brain. That's what required. But the
Yeah.
experimental sector requires machines and
Yeah,
everything
definitely.
like that. So I just met a student in when I was coming here.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
was pursuing PhD from some Punjab University or something like that. So
Hmm.
he went to Germany in some lab, and he worked there. So he said that what happens is there are 4 students,
Hmm.
there are 8 machines in Germany. Okay,
Hmm.
there are 4 students and there are eight
Eight
machines in
machines.
Germany. Yeah, and in our country the same situation is there are 40 students and there is one machine.
Yeah. Hmm.
So you get in the
Yeah.
experimental sector, but in theoretical sector, everybody has their own copies and everybody has a
Hmm.
computer with a laptop connection. internet connection. So for theoretic, and this institute also per se, the recent research in experimental physics, I mean, I won't say is that good here. But the thing is, if you pursue master's or PhD from here, your chances of going to those labs where the experimental research is going quite well are 95%. If you score good, you will get into
That's nice.
those labs.
That's nice.
And theoretical physics, I would say, one of the best in the country right now.
So like we were together in 11th, 12th, right? So did you like really thought this through in 12th only, or did you like just came over like
No,
whatever happens, like I will
yeah,
go to
whatever.
physics?
I mean, the only thing that I thought that thought in 11, 12 is, no matter what happens, I won't pursue MBBS. That's the only thing that I thought, right?
You're a
That
genius,
was the
man.
only thing that I thought. So
You're
after
both a
that, I
genius.
mean, I had only already, screwed up my 12th result because I was open schooling. I could, and luckily, if I did not have maths in 11, 12. Okay. So you know that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay. Without you had maths or without you were not having maths.
No, I never had maths in 11, 12,
My
right?
God. So
But
then
still, I
how are you doing
learned a lot
physics?
of math.
Then how
Yeah,
did
I
it?
learned a lot of maths on my own, basically, and
Okay.
YouTube courses and everything. So I had taken a lot of courses like linear algebra, differential equation, and a lot
Hmm.
of books, high standard books. And then, I mean, even without formally pursuing a
Maths.
maths, I know I know maths more than someone who has formally pursued a maths course. I mean, from
This is
graduation
new.
point of view,
That I
yeah,
didn't know.
from graduation point of view, I guess.
Hmm.
I mean, the graduates in maths, I mean, obviously they know much more, but I am telling that from perspective of a physics student who is pursuing math, who knows maths, okay,
Hmm.
and I know that maths, and beyond that, without formally pursuing a course ever in maths after 10th.
Hmm. Oh, I get it,
Okay.
man.
So, yeah.
That's
So,
quite.
no require, and the beauty is some of the institutes require maths as your graduation subject. I mean, minor subject, even if you are pursuing physics. Okay. Then there is a minor subjects also in graduation. Some of the institutes require maths there. This
Hmm.
institute does not require that. Okay. If you are good, first of all, they will gauge you on your abilities in the
So
interview.
it might be on the basis of physics, right? Like physics marks and physics only.
Yeah. Nevertheless, they will also gauge you on maths. So if you know maths, okay,
Hmm.
they only want to see that whether you know the subject or not. If you know the subject, if you know physics, then you already know maths. Okay. You won't
Okay.
get into this institute if you don't know maths, right?
Okay.
So they
Yeah.
won't require any other formal degree for that you know maths. Because you are in
Okay.
this institute, that means you know maths. That's a
Okay.
degree onto itself. So nevertheless, I never had any degree in math. So because of that, I couldn't give JEE or those exams
Yeah.
because those require maths. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe if I had done that, I mean, I don't know what would have happened, but yeah. So I couldn't, but I wasn't, I
You
did
would have
not,
cleared
I
it,
haven't
man.
planned. Yeah,
You would have easily cleared it. You are very good in
no,
physics.
but I did not, I haven't made a plan. I did not have a plan of giving J even if I had maths. If I had maths in 11th, then probably 90% chances, no, not 90, 70% chances, I wouldn't have given J. Okay, because I
Mine was also
wasn't
accidental.
inclined.
I just filled it as a backup plan.
Yeah,
My
yeah, you were
J.
talking about something like that, right? In
Yeah.
11, 12, we were giving, I mean, after we came out from that AI NEET exam, you were talking
Yeah.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah. That.
I remember that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So, so after that, I pursued my graduation. For 3 years, I did not know anything about these exams.
Hmm.
Okay. So I knew about JAM in just 2 months prior to my JAM exam that there is an
Hmm.
exam called JAM. So I
Okay.
downloaded the syllabus and I saw the syllabus, and 90% of the syllabus I knew simply because
Hmm.
now here comes, I was interested in physics. So
Hmm.
even though there was a graduate course I was pursuing, I also, everything is available on YouTube. I also learned a lot of things on YouTube. There is a course right called NPTEL. You
Hmm.
just write a course and you write NPTEL at the back. You
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
get course
We all study
just,
from there only.
yeah,
All the
yeah,
basics study from there only.
yeah. So I studied there, so I knew JAM syllabus. And then what happened for JEST was, so there was just a little away from my institute, there is a similar institute to
Hmm.
HRITIFR. So
Yeah.
there Ashok Chain was teaching, was taking a lecture, just one day lecture
Hmm.
of 2 hours on something about black hole information or something like that. I don't. First of all, it went above my head, so I did not understand a single thing. But after that institute, after that lecture, I went to him. He was just standing outside, and I asked him, "Sir, I'm gonna complete my graduation this year." It was January 2020, no corona then. So I'll complete my graduation in March. I thought that, and after that, I just want to be a student. I mean, for 1 year. I don't need any degree. You will give me books. I'll just keep book from there to there. Just I'll be an assistant, like a peon per se. So he said that, no, I don't take students in that sense. Basically, you should give this exam, and then if you clear it. So at that time, I mean, I did not prepare or anything, and that exam had already, gone. So after after clearing JAM, I was in Roorkie, and after a year, I gave JEST. So I cleared them. And when I went for the Institute of HRI, the first question that was asked to me was by association. It came full circle. And then
that's quite amazing, man. So I hope मतलब अब so I hope 11 12 की जो स्टूडेंट्स हमारे जब ये देख रहे हो या फिर जो कॉलेज में अभी ग्रेजुएशन कर रहे हो वो इनसे इंस्पायर्ड होके ऐसा भी कुछ करे, ना कि सिर्फ एमबीए या फिर एमटेक करके।
मैं सिर्फ ये कहूंगा कि वही करो जो आपको पसंद हो, जो ना पसंद हो लात
True.
मारो उसको। भले कोई आपके पेरेंट कुछ बोले, कोई आके सुन लो, ऐसे सर झुकाओ, लेकिन वही करो जो आपको पसंद है। एट द एंड बहुत लोग आपको कुछ, स्टैनली का सबने नाम, उन्होंने एक बात बताई थी, अगर आपके पास एक आइडिया है और वो जेन्युइनली बहुत अच्छा आइडिया है, तो किसी गधे को आपको ये बोलने मत दो कि आप नहीं कर सकते, आप उसको जरूर करो। आई वुड ओनली से दैट।
It was very inspiring talking to you, man, after such a long time.
Yeah,
okay, bro.
I mean, we met in Delhi, right?
Yeah, it's like it's been months. It's been months, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it was in March of 2021.
Like, yeah,
when I came to
yeah. That was that time. And we said that also. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So okay, bro. Let me end this meeting now. It's very nice talking to you. Bye, man.